in single sideband, bandwidth and power decreased by bandwidth and power decreased by 50% as compared with double sideband, right? So double sideband suppressed carrier comparing with single sideband. So bandwidth 2W. So bandwidth has now changed to W. Power AC square AM square by 4R, and I will prove it, guys. It will be here power, it will be AC square AM square by 8R. Now we are going to do a comparison between AM, double sideband, single sideband in context of power. So we'll put another heading, guys. Now, comparison between AM, double sideband and single sideband. Guys, even if I don't write suppressed carrier, it is suppressed carrier in context of. So guys, you know that first case AM. So in AM we used to have same diagram I will draw so that you are familiar with these diagrams. This is upper sideband, this is lower sideband, and this is carrier FC plus W, FC minus W. So let's just say that upper sideband power is 5 watt and this is also 5 watt, and let's say carrier power is 40 watt. So what is the total power you see here, guys? It is 40 plus 5 plus 5. How much it is? 50 watts. Okay? Clear? Now we'll compare this with the double sideband suppressed carrier. Okay? So the only change you will witness here is this. So here, this is upper sideband, power is 5 watt, lower sideband, power is 5 watt. So what is total power? Just the sideband power. So it is total 10 watts. But it will further reduce if you look at single sideband. So single sideband will have, like, either you will send, upper sideband, or you will send lower sideband. So your power you will take either 5 watt or 5 watts. So power you are using in transmission is 5 watt. So this is a demonstration of comparison of power amongst the three different techniques. Now you can take cases as well if you want to find how much power is saved when you actually replaced DSP modulation with SSB. So you can clearly see that power saving is like what? Power saved upon total power. So let me give the formula. If you want to find percentage power saving, what is the formula you are going to use? You are going to use this formula, power saved upon total power. Okay. So I would write, if I compare, so case 1, guys, first case 1 says that if you replace DSP SC replaced with SSP, then what happens? Okay. So we know that earlier power was 10 watts, now you have only using 5 watts. So power saved is 5 watts, total power was 10 watts. If you put into percentage, how much percent is that, guys? 50%. Are we there? Guys, I would say it is correct if you want to really call it as single sideband suppressed carrier, because carrier is not there. But generally people don't say, just we say single sideband, because single sideband is coming from double sideband. So double sideband we already saying double sideband suppressed carrier. Even if you say single sideband suppressed carrier, it's correct. You can simply also say single sideband, which I am saying. So not a big problem. Case 1 is this. If I say case 2, that AM is replaced with DSB-SC, then what will happen? AM power was 50 watts and suddenly you have 10 watts. So you have saved 40 watts. Out of how many watts? 50 watts. So power saving in this case will be how much? 80%. Power saving is 80%. So if you replace AM with DSB, 80% power saving. If you do DSB with SSB, another 50%. Okay? So can you see it, guys? And the last case is still there. So let me write here. So case 1 done, case 2 done. Let me write case 3. If I say directly replace AM with SSB, then what will happen? So power saving percentage would be you have saved 50 watts, you had the power, you saved 45 watts divided by 50 into 100%, so it is somewhere 90%. Correct? Can you give me the formula for this? So I have taken this as an example, right? Now I want you guys to give me formula for all these cases. So can you give me formula for power saving case 1, case 2, case 3? So let me do it for you guys. Guys, what are the power formula? General formula. It was PT equal to PC 1 plus mu square by 2. So if I just expand, it will become PT PC mu square by 2, and this is your carrier power, and this is your sideband power. Okay? Now case 1. So after that example we are good to go. When you are replacing AM with DSB, so how much power you save? So you save, power saved is equal to PC. You save the whole power which is in carrier, right? So percent power saving will be equal to what? So it will be saved power, total saved power upon total power. Right? Cancel. So it is the same 2 upon 2 plus mu square into 100 and percent. That's okay. Any confusion, guys, in this? That is case 1. Case 2, when you replace AM with directly single sideband. So guys, you know that in single sideband, you not only save carrier power, you also save power in one sideband. So it will be PC mu square by 4. Look at here, PC mu square by 2 is the power for double sideband. So single sideband power will be PC mu square by 2 by 2. So PC mu square by 4. So I can write PC 1 plus mu square by 4. So percent power saving would be क्या रहेगा? PC1 plus mu square by 4 divided by PC1 plus mu square by 2. PC cancel. So finally it will be, I'm writing 4 plus mu square, 2 plus mu square by 4, 2 will go up. So it will be half mu square by plus 4 upon mu square plus 2 into 100%. Have a look. Case third, if we replace DSB with SSB. So guys, here what should we say? Here it is always 50%. Doesn't depend on mu and all. Just write 50%. So guys, are we good on this discussion? We are good? Everybody understood the whole funda? Yes or no? Clear guys? So please don't remember this formula. Remember the concept. What is the concept? The whole story is like this. I can summarize in 2 minutes. Start with amplitude modulation. Start with the formula. PT equal to PC1 plus mu square by 2. In DSB, you are saving the carriers. You are saving PC. In SSB, you are saving the carrier as well as one sideband. Means PC plus PC mu square by 4. You know the total formula. PC1 plus mu square by 2. And don't need to remember anything, I guess. Why I have done it? So that I can make you feel that you can do this at your own at any point of time. You should understand the beauty, or you can say the beautiful concept of how AM is getting into DSB, DSB is getting into SSB, like that. I hope you agree. We're good on this? Okay. Now guys, we are going to study Hilbert transform. So put the heading Hilbert transform and its application. Hilbert transform and its properties and application. Okay, let me ask you another question before we go there. What is the Fourier transform of UT? What is the Fourier transform of UT? Okay, let me ask you another question. I taught in the very first session. What is the Fourier transform of delta t? And what is the Fourier transform of 1? And what is the Fourier transform of some constant k? So these are the 4 questions I am giving you, and I am also giving you 4 minutes. UT Fourier transform is 1 upon j omega plus pi del omega. First of all, delta t Fourier transform is 1 and 1 Fourier transform is 2 pi del omega. You can also write it as 2 pi and del omega you can write 2 pi f. This 2 pi will get divided by the property of impulse. So it will be this. So 2 pi cancels. You can also write it as del f. This is also correct. This is also correct. K Fourier transform, by that logic it will be k 2 pi del omega. Now I know a lot of people might be thinking that UT Laplace transform is 1 by s. Replace s with equal to j omega. So why the hell it is not 1 by j omega? Right? Correct? This is what you are thinking? Because there is a topic called you should study in signal system because of this Gibbs phenomena. Because of Gibbs phenomena. So Gibbs told us that UT is this. It's defined in a mathematical way. So it is t greater than 0 1, t equal to 0 half, t less than 0 0. So for 1, u2 equal to 1 for positive t, it is 1 by j omega, no problem. But because of this half, what is the Fourier transform of 1? 2 pi del omega. So half Fourier transform is half 2 pi del omega. 2 cancel, so it is pi del omega. So combining these two, you write 1 by j omega plus pi del omega. So today you just saw that you learned something which a lot of people in that session, they didn't know it. And it is going to be really suicidal when you go with this knowledge. It's very difficult. So guys, this list A, B, C, D, always keep in mind, don't make any mistake. You guys agree with me? Please respond, yes or no? Did it help? I hope it helps, right? The whole discussion. See, this is not part of communication system, guys. I am doing it for you as only. That's so that you can understand the importance of me teaching in this session, because I am connecting signal system and bringing in here so that you don't make any mistake in the communication system. See, gate mostly option will be like what? Either one option will be like 1 by j omega, other option will be 1 by j omega plus pi del omega. Or there will be a factor of 2 or half, and by that you will be selecting the wrong answer. So one option is 1, other option is half, right? Another option is 2. You might get confused. So if you remember this list, right? This list, nobody can track you on this. Okay. So guys, this is getting possible. So these two, if you recall signal system, D and C is possible because of one concept known as duality. Duality is also known as symmetry in signal system. I hope you know that. So please note it down, revise. Now guys, time has come to discuss one more important signal, which is known as signum T. Signum T is defined as this. When T is greater than 0, it is 1. When T is less than equal to 0, it is 0. When T is less than 0, it is minus 1. If you draw a graph of signum T, so you get this. T greater than 0, hollow point 1, equal to 0, dot, and hollow point minus 1 when it is negative. I hope you know this, signum T. Now guys, we also know that signum T can also be written as u of t minus of u of minus t, or it can also be written as twice u of t minus 1. But there you have to use the formula of Gibbs phenomena. Don't use some generic formula. As per Gibbs phenomena, if you find what is signum 0, so it is what? 2u of 0 minus 1. Right? So we know that if you just not follow Gibbs phenomena, you will get what? U of 0 is 1, 2 into 1, 2, minus 1, 1, which is wrong. Signum T is what? At t equal to 0, it is 0. So if you use Gibbs phenomena, Gibbs says at u of 0, it is half. So 1 minus 1, 0. This is only possible if you are using Gibbs phenomena. That is the, mathematical definition of UT. Please write it down. So this is also very important. I just proved a one result. Now, you also know that what is the Fourier transform of signum T? Anyone in the session? Come on, tell me quickly. So that is, you can say as E. What is signum T Fourier transform? Come on. Use that result. Tell me the answer. Come on, guys. Very good. 2 by j omega. Two by j omega. You need to understand that signum T equal to what? 2 ut minus 1. So you can think it as that finding the Fourier transform of this, and you will get 1 by j omega, right? Sorry, 2 by j omega, but the DC term will not have any impact. So this is a very good derivation. You can do it later, but I will not do it here. So those who don't remember the formula, please take it down. It is 2 by j omega. Now we are ready for the Hilbert transform thing. Okay, so you know a lot of stuff. Now we can start. So write the Hilbert transform of any signal GT is denoted as, so notation I'm telling, is denoted as this. So it's a notation for Hilbert transform. H of GT like this, and is defined as, so some of you said it correctly, it's actually what? Hilbert transform of GT, you can write it as what, guys? Convolution of GT with 1 upon pi t. So guys, this pi t, 1 upon pi t is the impulse response of Hilbert transform. You can say that. So it is convolution. So either you can write it as time domain mein 1 upon pi t, right, as 1 upon pi tau g of t minus tau d tau. That is one way to write it. Other way to write the same thing is minus infinity to infinity 1 upon pi t minus tau g of tau d tau. So this is how convolution formula you write it, if you recall from signal system. Now Hilbert transform has a unique notation that is known as g hat t. So if you want to find Hilbert transform, right, of any GT, you can denote it as g hat t, okay, and it is what? GT convolution with 1 upon pi t, that's it, okay. Now, how will we relating Hilbert transform? So guys, here, Hilbert transform impulse response is 1 upon pi t, and if you use duality properly, you will find 1 upon pi t Fourier transform is minus j signum omega. So it is coming because of duality. If you recall duality, duality was what? If you want to find Fourier transform of something which is already Fourier transform something else. So you know that 1 upon pi t Fourier transform minus j signum omega, but where do you get this 1 upon pi t? So you have to look at the 2 by j omega, right? So if you replace signum t ka Fourier transform is 2 by j omega. So if you say what is the Fourier transform 2 by j t, and you can replace j with pi and all, and you will get there. So that's a very good derivation. You can look at signal system and you will get it. But still, for now, you can just remember it. And it's very good to remember it. Otherwise, you will have a lot of issue if you don't know. Now, guys, if you take omega positive, it is minus j, so it will give you minus 90 degree. Okay. So minus j for the positive omega. Something like this. This is minus j. For negative omega, it is plus j. For omega 0, it is 0. So if you look at the graph, it is actually in the line of signum graph. And that is the reason I drew signum t graph, so that you can relate here quickly. Can you see it, guys? How this is coming? In that I have told you to go through the signal system. As of now, you can just remember. And the property that you are using to get this is known as duality. Okay, this is clear? So this is the graph of minus j sigma omega, but this is only, this is both magnitude and phase. Let's separate out. So let me draw magnitude and phase plot separately. So magnitude spectrum will be what? And what would be the phase spectrum? For magnitude spectrum of minus j signum omega, you have to just take mod. Mod of minus j is 1, so it is 1. No problem. Clear? But for phase spectrum, you know that for negative omega, it is 90 degree phase shift. 90 degree of pi by 2. And for the positive omega, it is minus 90 degree phase shift, if this is 0 degree. So basically, Hilbert transform Hilbert transform gives you a phase shift of minus 90 degree when you are in the positive frequencies, omega greater than 0. So that is like an application. To put the heading application, let me write first, then we can understand. So what is the application, guys? So this transform can be thought as, as a transform. So guys, I am talking about Hilbert transform. So Hilbert transform can be thought as a transform that produces input signal shifted by pi by 2 to the right side. Guys, right side means delay, right? So you can also write in another manner, or another words, shifted by simply minus pi by 2. So guys, writing shifted by pi by 2 to the right is saying shifting by minus 90 degree, because whenever you shift in right, it is delay, right? Delay. Whenever you shift in the left, it is advanced signal system. Remember that? We know that g hat t was gt convolution 1 upon pi t. Okay? So can I write, after taking Fourier transform on both the sides, can I write g hat omega equal to g of omega minus j signum omega? This is very useful result. So just like multiplying with minus j signum omega in the frequency domain or omega domain. Clear? Now I am going to give a very good application. You will be like happy to see that what this can do. And trust me, you have never seen something like this before. Let's take g of omega equal to a plus jb for some omega. It's a constant thing, I know, but for some omega you get constant, right? So what would be g hat omega? It will be g of omega into minus j signum omega, correct? So it will be what? Just feeding in this here, you will write a plus jb minus j signum omega, multiplying these two. So you will write what? Minus aj signum omega and plus b signum omega. If I can take common signum omega, I can write it is b minus ja signum omega. So if I just talk for omega greater than 0, so only for omega greater than 0, right, the term you are seeing there, it will become positive because signum omega is equal to 1 when you say omega greater than 0. So can I say that your input is a plus jb, you are getting this input to the Hilbert transform, right, ht, and finally you get b minus ja. Look at the beauty. You are taking a plus jb and you are getting b minus ja. Clear? Now can I say that Hilbert transform also swaps the real part with the imaginary part and imaginary part with the real part with a change in sign of the imaginary part? Can you see that? Plus has become minus. So that is one application, guys. Yes or no? I don't think you have ever seen this. It's a clear mathematical application. So I think you are talking about here. So let me do it again. See, guys, he's asking about what is the Fourier transform of g hat t. So guys, if you recall, Chetkar, gt was g hat t is actually convolution of take gt and convolve with 1 upon pi t. If you take Fourier transform, what you will get? You will get g hat omega. What is the Fourier transform of gt? G of omega. Convolution becomes multiplication. What is the Fourier transform of 1 upon pi t? Which I told you separately. So I don't think there is any confusion. And I have done nothing. I have just taken g of omega as a plus jb and do the maths. So when you do it again, when you go back and write on the paper, piece of paper, you will not get confused. Okay, I hope it answers your question. Now write the note, or you can say the application. Hilbert transform essentially acts as to exchange or swap the real and imaginary parts of g omega while changing the sign of one of them. And that one of them is imaginary part. Okay, clear? Now we'll discuss about the properties of Hilbert transform. So we'll discuss about the properties of Hilbert transform. Properties of Hilbert transform. The first one is linearity. So guys, Hilbert transform is linear. GATE has asked this question. Hilbert transform is linear as well as time invariant, LTI. Okay, please keep in mind. So, if you take A1 G1t plus A2 G2t का Hilbert transform, so I put a hat. So, it will be equal to A1 G1 hat t plus A2 G2 hat t. Guys, don't get panicked by this hat. It's just like taking transform, okay? So what does this mean? It means A1 G1 t convolution 1 upon pi t. And this means A2 G2 t convolution with 1 upon pi t. Look at this. What is happening actually in the back end? Next point. Next property. Second property. Hilbert transform of a DC signal. Hilbert transform of a DC signal is 0. Very, very important point. Hilbert transform of a DC signal is 0. Right? So how it is 0, guys? Simple. Let's say Gt equal to some constant 10. So what is Hilbert transform? G hat t. It is 10 convolution 1 upon pi t. So go and talk or see in the Fourier transform domain. So it is G hat omega equal to what? What is the 10 ka Fourier transform? I just taught you 20 pi del omega, because one Fourier transform is 2 pi del omega. So 10 Fourier transform is 20 pi del omega into minus j signum omega. So guys, what will happen if you look at this? What will happen? 20 pi del omega you are multiplying with minus j signum omega, and you know that how does del omega look like? So del omega looks like this. It is only 20 pi, area under that 20 pi at omega equal to 0, but at omega equal to 0, signum omega is 0. Signum omega is 0. Outside that, signum omega is there, right? But this is 0. So guys, outside omega equal to 0, this is 0, that impulse is 0. On the omega equal to 0 point, signum omega is 0. So actually you'll get 0. Okay? Actually you'll get 0. And even if you take inverse Fourier transform or anything, answer is always 0. Very, very important property, guys. Property number 3rd. But guys, did you observe one thing? Hilbert transform of a DC signal is 0. Isn't it Hilbert transform is acting like a capacitor which is blocking the DC component? So it is a very quick observation that if you take Hilbert transform, it is actually behaving as a capacitor of a filter. It is blocking the DC component. Any DC signal, if you take Hilbert transform, output is 0. So like the observation, like this, write the observation. Please write the observation, OBS. Just like an ideal differentiator, Hilbert transform loses DC offsets, means DC values is gone. You can also write in simple plain English, it kills the DC signal because the output is 0. We have couple of more properties. Let's quickly see it. Property number 3rd, which is known as time shifting and scaling. Time shifting and time scaling. Just have a quick look. So time shifting, if you want to do time shifted signal Hilbert transform, you will get same shift in the output as well. If you want to do scaling alpha times t, and then you want to do Hilbert transform, so what will happen? It will be signum alpha times g hat t. This is a little tricky, so please remember it. Signum of alpha g hat t, and assume alpha is not equal to 0. Next property, guys, convolution. So suppose you want to convolve two signals, G1t convolution with G2t, and you want to take Hilbert transform. So what will happen? It will be G1 hat t convolution G2t, only one will be getting Hilbert transformed, or G1t convolution G2t hat. Without formula, you have to write it, you have to keep it correct, and then you can remember it. Okay, please take care of that. Next property, guys, last property, time derivative, which you want to differentiate, then so differentiation, what is the property of time derivative for Hilbert transform? So if you want to take Hilbert transform of d by dt g of t, so it is equal to differentiation of Hilbert transform of g of t. So actually Hilbert transform goes inside, and then you can also differentiate. So what I am trying to say, you can take Hilbert transform g hat t and then differentiate. Okay?